It's me, David Jones, from the FTN Network at Tenacious D Jones on Twitter, Tenacious D Jones on DraftKings, and I'm here talking to you on the Mayo Media Network about Sunday Night Showdown. DraftKings slate, 300K up top. Let's get to it. Let's take it down by ourselves. Let's leave some salary on the table, take it down by ourselves. If you haven't subscribed to the Mayo Media Network YouTube channel, please do that right now. Smash that like button, as Pat likes to say. And let's get to it. Look, the Saints are playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the two old-timers, Drew Brees and Tom Brady, going up against each other once again. These two teams have met twice already this season. The Saints won both. Won big one time, 38-3 the first time they met on a primetime slate. That was ugly. Remember that one. And the next time they met, it was 34-23 going to the Saints again. I'll tell you one thing. I know it is very tough to beat the same team three times in one season in the NFL. So take that as you want. I'd like to see Tampa Bay win this, I guess. I'm not a Saints fan. I'm a Falcons fan. I don't like the Saints. And I'm not a Tom Brady fan because I'm a Falcons fan and of what he's done to us. So I don't want either of these teams to win the Super Bowl, but I guess I would like to see Tom Brady get close again. Look, the Saints are going to be favored in this one by 3 points. The over-under is 52. It is in New Orleans. It's in the Dome. Not too many notable injuries here. Ronald Jones is questionable. He may or may not play, which may or may not give Leonard Fournette a bigger role in this game. Very tough matchup for him. Some question marks around the Saints receivers, or a question mark with Traquan Smith if he's going to play. Those are the big ones. Not too much going on here. Tom Brady's going to have full healthy receivers with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown. And then over on the Saints, they're just going to kind of piece it together like they've been doing all year. I should mention, too, that Taysom Hill is questionable. We'll just have to keep an eye on him. He's a guy, if he's out, it would probably make me like Drew Brees a little bit more because they can't get too crafty. Sean Payton can't get too crafty at the goal line, bringing Taysom in and vulturing Brees, whether it's with a run or whether it is with a pass. So let's get to it. Highest price player, Tom Brady, $16,500 at the captain spot. I don't think I want to go there with the captain. I do like a couple of the Tampa Bay wide receivers. I don't mind putting Brady in that flex spot, but at the captain, I don't typically like to do quarterbacks at the captain. You guys should know that by now. You've been watching me for an entire season. On DraftKings, you want a wide receiver or a running back who's going to catch a lot of passes like an Alvin Kamara. They rack up points quicker. Someone should go off. So Brady, he's been slinging it, actually. I know he started off a little cold beginning of the season, but we are deep in the season now. He's looked good down the field recently. Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, he might get something going this game. That's what I'm kind of counting on. But Tom Brady at the flex, that's fine. Michael Thomas caught his first touchdown pass of the season, believe it or not. That's a first-round bust in your season-long fantasy drafts. He only played half the games, if that. But he caught his first one last week. Look, he's elite wide receiver. Still, I know it's his first touchdown pass, but he just did not play a lot for whatever reason. A lot of different reasons, actually, this season. Last week, he got 7 targets, came down with it. He's going to be seeing a lot of Carlton Davis and Sean Murphy-Bunting. Sean Murphy-Bunting is a guy that we love to target in DFS. Those two backs are going to be on him probably 75% of the time in this game, and Drew Brees is going to be throwing it to Michael Thomas a lot and throwing it to Alvin Kamara some. When MT comes back, it kind of takes away from Alvin Kamara's, or so it would seem. It's kind of hard to judge with the lack of Michael Thomas this season, but it appears that when Michael Thomas is back, Kamara takes a hit in the passing game, which makes sense. But of course, when Michael Thomas is out, Kamara gets going, but you have to have Drew Brees at the quarterback, as we saw with Taysom Hill. Michael Thomas, he makes a lot of sense at the captain. He probably gets the most targets in this game. And he's definitely the most likely to score for the New Orleans Saints in the passing game. You can play him for sure. I like him a lot. At the FTN cornerback wide receiver matchup tool, Michael Thomas is ranked as the second best matchup in these playoffs, all 4 games. So the next best is actually going to be Antonio Brown, who we'll talk about a little bit later. He's just slightly above Michael Thomas, but it's me doing the eye test. I'm probably going to give that to Michael Thomas. So he's good at the captain. Alvin Kamara, running back for the Saints, $15,300. Look, we like Alvin Kamara. Great back. He's looked very, very good this season, just as a whole. I mean, I mentioned it on another show. I mean, he's just picking his spot so good. He's hesitating, but in a good way, finding the hole. He looks really, really good. I've been impressed with Kamara. He got 23 attempts against the Bears last week, 22 against Minnesota the week before that. It's kind of a mixed bag what he's going to get in the passing game. He only got 2 targets, but caught both of them last week, and that to me is going to be the absolute floor. He scored 19.6 points. He got 1 rushing touchdown. He's a guy that can get in there twice for sure. Tampa Bay, not the easiest team to run on for sure. They don't look as stout as they did at the beginning of the season. Not an easy matchup, but Kamara, pass game, run game, he's good. You can play him at the captain too. We like the 2 Saints up top at the captain spot so far. Drew Brees, 14,700. I'm not playing him at the captain spot. I want to see if Taysom Hill is going to be in. It'd give me more interest in him at the flex. Typically, I don't like to play Drew Brees, not because he's washed up, but because Sean Payton just gets weird around the goal line. That's all there is to it. And Drew Brees hasn't had a lot of ceiling games really this season. Look, he had the rib injury. Taysom came in and was a stud for a month. He was without Michael Thomas. I get it. There was a lot of things not going right for Brees, but still, it's not a guy that I want to play at the captain spot. If you want to pair him up when you have Thomas or Kamara in the captain spot, I don't see any problem with that at all. Mike Evans is next up. $13,500. Don't have a lot of interest in Michael Evans. Does anyone call him Michael, or is it just me? Mike Evans, this go round. Look, he's going to be going up against Marshawn Lattimore. In his career, he's seen Marshawn Lattimore 7 times in 2 of those games, and only 2. He has exceeded 65 yards in the receiving role, and he's only scored 2 touchdowns in those 7 games. It's a tough matchup for him against Lattimore. It's going to funnel more passing to Chris Godwin towards Antonio Brown, maybe to Rob Gronkowski, even though the Saints are very good against the tight end, unless your last name is Waller and you play for the Raiders. So look, I'm not that high on Mike Evans. Great wide receiver, not the matchup for him against Lattimore. Chris Godwin up next. I like him in the captain spot. I want to pay out for the captains. $12,300, just mentioned it. Not going to be seeing a lot of Lattimore. Going to be seeing a lot of Gardner Johnson. Gardner Johnson is allowing 63% of his targets to be caught, and I just think the pass gets funneled more towards him, trying to get off Lattimore. So that's where I'm going to go. Chris Godwin, like him, captain spot. Hopefully he gets going. He's only had a couple big games this season, but this could be the one. It lines up really nicely for him. Antonio Brown underneath him, $11,700. Woo! Antonio Brown, love to see it. Against Atlanta, 20 points. Detroit, 13. Atlanta again, 40. Against Washington and their good defense, 15.1 last week in the first round of the playoffs with 1 touchdown on only 3 targets, 49 yards. And he got there. Antonio Brown, I think the pass gets funneled to him away from Mike Evans more this game. He makes a lot of sense too. So if I have to rank these captains so far, I'm going to go with probably Kamara, Michael Thomas, Godwin, Antonio Brown. And I don't think I want to get too weird off of that. Look, it's the playoffs. I think they're just going to funnel it to their superstars. All 4 of those guys are clearly superstars, and that's just where I want to go with it. That's what I'll be doing. Ronald Jones is up next, $10,500. Let's swap it over to the flex pricing. So Ronald Jones may or may not play. He's questionable right now. $7,000 if you're playing with the flex, going up against the top-rated rush defense in the league. This is a rush defense that does not hardly ever allow 100-yard rushing games combined for running backs. They're too good. They're at home. I don't want Ronald Jones. If he plays, they'd probably put him in there when they're on the goal line, and he might get in the end zone, but he's not going to pick up a lot of yards on the ground. It's just so unlikely going up against this Saints defense. It's just tough. We have to see if he plays, though. If he doesn't, the guy underneath him, Leonard Fournette's going to get more touches. $6,800. Again, incredibly difficult matchup. All the same stuff I just said about Rojo, but he can be a little bit more involved. Rojo can be involved in the pass game, too. He can be a little more involved in the pass game. I mean, it is still Leonard Fournette. This guy's finally going for a Super Bowl. He's all right. I mean, I don't love it. I don't want either of these running backs really from Tampa Bay just because of that Saints defense. If I made 5 teams, I'd put him on 2. No way I'm playing him at the captain. He's just okay. Scrolling on down, Taysom Hill, we have to wait and see. He's still listed as quarterback, but the good thing about DraftKings on the showdown slates, you can throw him in if you want to. $6,000, probably too much for him too much for him now. I mean, earlier in the season we were getting him at like $600. Look, Drew Brees is back. It's going to take away a lot from him. Yes, he can vulture Brees. He's done it against Carolina, against Minnesota. Got over 10 DK points. It could happen. But not particularly high on Hill. The price isn't good enough. I love Hill as a player. Looks like a lot of people were wrong about Taysom Hill. Not me. I've always been touting Taysom Hill, but he's one of those guys I always touted. Sorry about the brag. I don't think I'm going to be on him on this game. Scrolling down, passing the backup quarterbacks, Emmanuel Sanders did not do much in the first round, did he? But now he's going up against Tampa Bay. Pretty decent spot for him, really. Last week he only caught 2 balls on 3 targets, but that was the Michael Thomas show, who finally came back and started playing some football, finally got in the end zone. Emmanuel Sanders going to be seeing a lot of Dean, 63% completion percentage on Dean. He's okay just because he's so cheap. We're talking showdown. You can take a flyer on him. Drew Brees, it's been kind of tough to tell where the ball's going with him, especially when Michael Thomas was out. We know Michael Thomas is going to get the ball now, right? But last week you had a lot of Deonte Harris. We don't know if Traquan Smith's going to play. I mean, he dishes it out to like Lil Jordan Humphreys once or twice a game. Trotman got in there. Cook needs to get more involved. Emmanuel Sanders, he's the kind of play that on a showdown slate, look, you're not going to be able to make a huge case for. But it could work out. I mean, against Carolina, but when Michael Thomas was out a game before the Chicago Bears game, he got targeted 13 times. Emmanuel Sanders is a very good wide receiver, was for the Broncos for sure. That was a long time ago. He's been traded around a little bit. He's the kind of guy that could win you one of these. I don't mind him at all. If you don't have Michael Thomas, you might want to get on Emmanuel Sanders. Underneath Emmanuel Sanders, we have Harris, who showed up in a weird big way last week. Deonte Harris caught 7 of 7. He only ran 14 routes for the Saints. Got targeted on half of them and caught 100% of them. 83 yards, no touchdowns. They gave him 1 rushing attempt. He lost some yards on. 15.1 points. Really, with Deonte Harris, it's going to matter to me if Traquan Smith is playing. I was surprised Callaway wasn't more involved, that Deonte Harris, who really does a lot of special team stuff, got involved as much as he did. I'm going to chase it a little bit, but his price is just up. I mean, it's $5,600. Like, I would way, way rather play Emmanuel Sanders. Deonte Harris, to me, he's going to be a punt. If you have Traquan Smith in, I'm not as high on him. It just doesn't seem like that's sustainable. I don't know. Price went up. It feels like chasing a little bit. Jared Cook going up against Tampa Bay. Better spot for the New Orleans tight ends than the Tampa Bay tight ends. New Orleans very good against the tight end. Targeted 7 times against Chicago in a game that they won pretty easily. They didn't score a ton of points against the Bears. I mean, it's a playoff game. These things usually tend to stay close. But Jared Cook, I mean, he's a solid guy. 5,200. I'd probably rather play him over Sanders. I'd definitely rather play him over Harris. Cook, he could show up in a big way too. $5,200. You know the targets are going to be there, even though Michael Thomas is back. I like him. Jared Cook seems a little too cheap. A couple guys over him that like I said, I'd play him over Harris for sure. Probably over Emmanuel Sanders too. You have Rob Gronkowski up next, $5,000. Going up against New Orleans, who the only tight end that's beat New Orleans really this season is Darren Waller, just because he just got absolutely fed. And it really kind of skewed the numbers against New Orleans tight end coverage. That's the guy who made them look worse than they are, but no one really beats New Orleans at the tight end position. However, we know that Tom Brady loves Gronk. Gronk loves Tom Brady. Down in the red zone, it could easily go to Gronk, and he can catch it. He is a big, big boy. I tend to think that they're going to leave Gronk in not just a blocking role, get him more involved in blocking, saving Tom Brady. The Saints have had success sacking Tom Brady this season, so Gronk, the big trustworthy Gronk, is going to help out there. But again, that's not going to take away from his pass role. He's still going to go out there and give it his all. And I mean, what could be his last game if they don't win, I guess. I haven't really looked into when Gronkowski's retiring. Could be. He should go out there, give it his all. Brady's going to target him in the red zone when they get down there. Tough matchup. I'm going to go against the matchup. I think Gronk can get there. You've got the Saints D, the Bucks D up next. Who do you think's going to win, the Saints or the Bucks? It's really too close to call. I think I want to see the Bucks win this, but I'm not particularly high on either of these defenses. They're not particularly cheap, but they're not particularly expensive. They're right there in the middle, priced next to each other. Pick who you think's going to win. Man, that's tough. Maybe it's in New Orleans, in the Dome. Should be a lot of points. Not particularly high on either of them. If I had to choose one, I guess I'd go Saints, but I might not play a lot of them. You've got Lutz up next. Will Lutz, the kicker for New Orleans, who I actually do kind of like. He's too cheap. He's at home. He's in the Dome. We like that for kickers. If you didn't know that, that's a real thing. He can get you double-digit points, $3,600. Like that a lot, especially if Brees can move the ball down the field and they cannot execute and get in the end zone. It's going to be Lutz season. Like it. Suckup, Ryan Suckup, same conditions. In the Dome, Tampa Bay kicker, $3,400. If I have to pick one, I'm going Lutz. Now we're starting to get down here in punt territory. Cameron Brate, a guy that can catch a touchdown, not someone you're putting on your team. If you are just making one team or even 5 teams, against Washington, he had a good game, 6 targets, 4 receptions, but he kind of took Gronk's production. I think they go back to Gronk here. Not real interested in him. Miller for Tampa Bay, total punt, wide receiver. I think you just go to your main 3 if you're Tom Brady here in the second round of the playoffs. Keyshawn Vaughn, a little bit interesting if Rojo were to get ruled out. He got 5 attempts against Washington towards the end of the game, 1 target through the air, didn't catch it. He didn't really do what some people thought he was going to do this season, did he? No, they pulled over Leonard Fournette. You don't need Keyshawn Vaughn. Little Jordan Humphrey, great name, bad DFS play. Marquez Callaway, I mentioned it earlier, thought he'd be more involved against Washington, but I guess the Saints are getting healthier. Of course, Michael Thomas came back. You had the emergence of Harris. Traquan Smith might play. Marquez Callaway is going to be a total punt. I think if he were to draw the start with some injury news, then you can go to him. He would have a good matchup. Where do I have? I have him somewhere. Callaway, he'd be seeing some Sean Murphy Bunting, who we like to target. Sean Murphy Bunting's giving up 78% of the passes thrown his way. Still think he's kind of punt territory there, though. The Saints wide receiver core is getting they're getting healthy. Looking down here, do I want any of these other guys? Josh Hill, probably not. Trotman, New Orleans tight end, probably not. O.J. Howard, still on IR. Maybe big guy can get him a Super Bowl if Tom Brady can win this one. I hope not, man. I'm tired of seeing him win. Who else? Anyone else down here? No, not really. Recapping, best captains I like over here. I like Kamara. I like Godwin. I like Michael Thomas. I like AB. And if you want to go completely crazy, you can go with some Gronk. That's not a recommendation, though. Saints are too good against the tight end. But he's cheap enough that he can maybe leverage you into a win. I won't have a lot of them. I make 20 teams. I might make one Gronk captain team. That's it. Enjoy the playoffs. I appreciate you watching, everyone. Good luck to you. Someone win that 300K. And again, if you have not subscribed, please smash that like button and do so. Follow me at Tenacious D Jones on Twitter. Check out ftndaily.com. Thanks again. Bye-bye.